Ronaldo is R9.
The best football player I have ever seen on a pitch.
He was one of the absolute greats, even with his injuries.
For me, he was the perfect player.
Do you have a dream?
Win Brazil's 5th World Cup. For me, the World Cup has always been the ultimate goal. Even though I didn't play a single minute in the '94 World Cup, it felt like my university.
Even with a World Cup medal around his neck, he knew his dream wasn't complete. But that boy from a humble family, born and raised in the Bento Ribeiro neighborhood on the outskirts of Rio de Janeiro, was ready to take on the world. With a meteoric rise and a dominant spell at PSV Eindhoven, Ronaldo took European football by storm. In his first season, he scored 35 goals in 36 games, becoming the youngest top scorer in the Dutch league. His talent seemed limitless, but beneath the surface of success, a silent enemy was beginning to write its own chapter in his story.
What's your biggest fear?
Fear? Well, my biggest fear is injuries. I don't think there's anything more heartbreaking for an athlete than getting injured and being unable to do what they love most.
The following season, despite battling injuries that forced him to miss the final stretch of the campaign, perhaps a sign of challenges to come, he still managed 19 goals in 21 matches. And his 54 goals in 57 games were enough to earn him a record-breaking move to Spain. For 15 million euros, he became the most expensive player in history at the time, signing with Barcelona. And he didn't disappoint. In his first season, he scored an astonishing 47 goals in 49 games, leading Barca to 3 trophies: the Supercopa, Copa del Rey, and the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup. That season, he wasn't just a rising star, he was the best in the world. In 1996, Ronaldo won the FIFA World Player of the Year award for the first time. But contractual disputes with the club cut his time at Barcelona short. Still, this rising star was just getting started. Inter Milan shattered the transfer record, signing Ronaldo for 28 million euros. He arrived in Italy as the league's biggest sensation, carrying the hopes of an entire fan base. In his debut season, he delivered, scoring 34 goals in 47 games, leading Inter to a UEFA Cup victory, and once again being named FIFA World Player of the Year. His blistering speed, dazzling dribbles, and sheer explosiveness made him a phenomenon on the pitch.
All the applause is for him, the man they call the phenomenon.
He was born to be the phenomenon. God said, "You are the chosen one."
When I got that nickname in Italy, I remember my first reaction was not liking it. I really didn't like it. I think it just felt like extra pressure, something I didn't need at that moment. A phenomenon can't fail, can't feel pain, and definitely can't stop scoring goals.
You're the best player in the world right now. Is your main focus on the World Cup in France?
Of course, that's my dream, to get there, play, and bring home the 5th championship for Brazil.
For this soccer-crazy country, taking a 5th world title would be the ultimate confirmation that the Samba boys really are in a class of their own.
It's a World Cup more hyped than any other.
With the weight of an entire nation on his shoulders, a football-obsessed country desperate for another World Cup after 24 years. Ronaldo crumbled under the pressure.
I woke up at 8:30 like usual, went for a walk with Roberto. Everything was calm, just a normal day. We had lunch at noon, and afterward everyone went back to their rooms. I shared a room with Roberto. When we got there, he lay down and I went to the bathroom to shave my head. From that moment on, I don't remember anything else.
Just hours before the biggest match of his life, he suffered a seizure. Despite being rushed to the hospital, he still made it back onto the pitch for the final against France. But he wasn't himself. Brazil, already struggling with its star player in distress, faced another unstoppable force that night: Zinedine Zidane. Once again, the dream of that poor boy from Bento Ribeiro had slipped away.
It was one of the hardest days of my life. Losing that final was heartbreaking, but what I had no idea about was that things were about to get even worse.
Ronaldo returns to Inter, but this time not as the superstar who once took Europe by storm. After the '98 World Cup, doubts followed him everywhere. People wondered if he could ever be the best in the world again. But the answer came quickly. On the field, Ronaldo proved he truly was a phenomenon, still unstoppable, lethal and unpredictable. But something wasn't right. With the intense training demands of the Italian league, Ronaldo's body began showing signs that something was wrong. After grueling practices and matches, he started feeling something off in his right knee. An odd discomfort that came and went. Doctors ran tests but found nothing serious. Yet in November 1999, he would face his first major challenge. For the first time in his career, Ronaldo felt like he had lost control of his own body. The tests revealed the truth: a partial rupture of the patella tendon. The diagnosis was clear. If he kept playing, the injury could get worse. He needed surgery. The surgery took place just days later, and the doctors were optimistic.
With the right recovery time, he'll be back with no issues.
While the world wondered if he could ever return to his peak, Ronaldo threw himself fully into his recovery. Months of physical therapy and relentless dedication. He was convinced that everything would go back to how it was before.
I was about to play again. My son was about to be born. Everything was perfect.
And against all odds, just 5 months later, he was back.
It was massive. It was massive because the return had been delayed. And so the anticipation just built and built and built ahead of that game.
Ronaldo's back.
This time, there would be no quick return. It could be the end of the dream.
At this point, no one can say with any certainty whether or not he'll play again.
I decided to see a doctor in the US, a knee specialist. After examining me, he said that if I were really lucky, I could live a normal life, but there was no way I'd ever play soccer again.
Endless days of pain and doubt. His knee won't respond. Every small step forward comes with suffering. There are moments when he thinks about giving up, but giving up was never an option. Months turn into years. Slowly, Ronaldo learns to walk again, then to run, then to strike a ball. But just when he's finally ready, he discovers a new enemy.
Inter were obsessed with winning another title. Having tried everything, they said, let's try something else. Hector Cooper's this Argentine, tough guy. We need discipline, we need order, enough for the flair, enough for the big names. And Ronaldo simply didn't fit that narrative. He got it into his head that Ronaldo was a problem and wasn't worth it.
Cooper was definitely the worst coach I've ever worked with.
After nearly 2 years of recovery, Ronaldo is ready to make his comeback. But Inter's coach, Hector Cooper, doesn't believe in him.
Inter were in a three-way race for the Serie A title, and many had them as favorites. And Cooper is very superstitious. Some people have accused Cooper of thinking that Ronaldo was somehow cursed.
Minutes on the field are denied. The bench becomes his new home. With the 2002 World Cup approaching, Ronaldo is in a race against time.
All I could think about was the World Cup. I needed to earn my spot at the club because no one gets called up to a World Cup if they're not playing for their own team. The clock was ticking.
He doesn't just have to convince his club coach that he's ready. He has to prove to his national team's coach that he can still be the player he once was, that he can help his country.
No one really knows if Ronaldo will be fit to play in the World Cup or not.
But with Inter at a crucial moment in the championship, Cooper, despite his reluctance, has no choice, and Ronaldo earns his spot back.
Till now, Inter's cautious coach Hector Cooper had been reluctant to risk Big Ron in serious competition. Sunday morning, though, he surprised everyone by putting the Brazilian in from the start, alongside the club's other fresh back from injury star, Christian Vieri.
From that moment on, the story began to change.
It's Ronaldo! Ronaldo, tiro palo! Ronaldo! It's Ronaldo! It's all 3 points! What a story here!
Finally, we had our Ronaldo back. The performance against PSG turned the narrative. Just as before he was cursed, now he's blessed.
But Ronaldo still had one last challenge. He needed to be picked by Coach Scolari, who had serious doubts about whether he could deliver for the national team.
I honestly didn't know if I'd be called up for the World Cup. There were a lot of doubts and I was really anxious about it.
There are definitely a lot of questions about Luis Felipe Scolari's squad list, and the biggest one is whether Ronaldo will be called up.
Tense moments took over that football-loving nation, and after a long wait, Brazilians and the world would finally know the 23 players called up for the 2002 World Cup.
Então, os atletas convocados para o Mundial são os seguintes: Marcos, do Palmeiras; Dida, do Corinthians.
I was given a list of pros and cons, and I had to make my choice.
E Ronaldo Nazário, da Inter de Milan.
There is a feeling now that Brazil can and will go all the way and will bring back their 5th World Cup.
The first game of the World Cup was here. I was still unsure, worried about whether my knee would hold up or not. Well, after that, my knee can handle anything.
Right in the first game of the World Cup, Ronaldo proved to his coach, his teammates, and an entire football-loving nation that they could count on him. And in the following games, Ronaldo kept proving to the world that he was still the phenomenon.
I had a lot of pain in my thigh and it immediately became a headline in the press. So just for fun, I got a ridiculous haircut, but it ended up distracting the media completely. So I decided to keep it that way.
Once again, Ronaldo was in a World Cup final. And once again, after so much struggle and hardship, he had the chance to finally make his lifelong dream come true. That night, Ronaldo was determined to make his childhood dream come true. This time, he would do whatever it took to make sure that opportunity didn't slip away.
I was substituted with 5 minutes left in the game, and in that moment, as I left the field, a whole movie played in my mind of all the struggles it took to get to that moment. In that moment, I realized that I had already won my World Cup. My World Cup was my recovery. Everything I went through made me a better friend, a better son, a better father, and a much better person.
Ronaldo is R9.
The best football player I have ever seen on a pitch.
He was one of the absolute greats, even with his injuries.
For me, he was not playing football, he was football.
The best Ronaldo ever.
Without hesitation, for me, Ronaldo, Brazilian Ronaldo, has been from a different species.
For me, he was the perfect player.
More goals in games. Phenomenal. That's the nickname, man. That's it.
This man needs no introduction. Three-time FIFA World Player of the Year, the man who defied logic, whose very name meant goals, magic, greatness. But he was doubted, not once, but twice. The world watched him fall and then watched him rise. Once again, the world bowed to his brilliance. After conquering the planet in 2002, Ronaldo seemed unstoppable. But once again, his body turned against him, and they said it was over. Maybe that was the price of glory. But for the phenomenon, the story wasn't over. There was still one last chapter to write. One last dance. After his redemption in the 2002 World Cup, the phenomenon landed in Madrid, another superstar joining the Galactico constellation at Real. Of his physical shape grew louder, especially in his later seasons, and that unstoppable brilliance at times seemed dimmed by his weight. Looking for a fresh start, in January 2007, Ronaldo made a bold move, signing with AC Milan. A shocking decision, considering it was the fiercest rival of Inter, the club where he had lived both heaven and hell. In the second half of the 2006 to 2007 season, he showed flashes of the old Ronaldo, scoring 7 goals in just 13 games. He still had that striker's instinct. And even though injuries plagued his 2007 to 2008 campaign, he managed 2 goals in 6 matches, enough to reignite hope in the hearts of football fans. Maybe Italy would once again be the stage for his lasting legacy, but fate, cruel and relentless, had other plans. At just 31 years old, another colossal challenge would rise between him and eternal glory. A single moment that would change his destiny forever. The same devastating injury that once nearly ended his career, but this time it struck his left knee. And once again, the football world watched in shock as the phenomenon's nightmare repeated itself. Maybe this was it. Maybe this was the final blow. Maybe it was time to say goodbye to one of the greatest players ever to grace the game. A new surgery in Paris. A slow, painful recovery began again, but Ronaldo knew this script better than anyone, and once more he accepted the challenge, determined to prove that his nickname was more than just a name. His boyhood club welcomed him with open arms. There, under the Rio sun, the fight to come back began. Physiotherapy, individual training, and the constant battle with the scale, an opponent just as relentless as his injuries. He trained hard, he sweat. He spoke his heart.
Yes, it's always been my dream to play for Flamengo. I've been a Flamengo fan since I was a kid.
Even while clearly out of shape, his genius was undeniable. Teammates were stunned. His shooting precision, his hunger to compete, the aura of a champion, it was all still there. Gavia pulsed with life. The fans were dreaming wide awake. The return of the prodigal son felt inevitable. But as the media speculated, the fans dreamed, and the Maracanã waited with open arms for the perfect final chapter. Time passed, and no official offer from Flamengo ever came. He was allowed to train, to recover, but Ronaldo wanted more. He wanted to play again, to feel the thrill of competition, and his patience was running thin. And then, in the middle of that silence, the phone rang. A concrete offer, audacious, and from the last place anyone expected. Corinthians, one of Brazil's biggest clubs, with over 30 million fans, a true giant. But in 2008, the club was rebuilding. It had just returned to the first division after the painful relegation in 2007. And fate was about to place one of the greatest players in football history at the heart of this redemption story. But doubt hung in the air. No one in their right mind believed that Ronaldo could ever be the same again. In Rio, Flamengo fans were furious, betrayed. In São Paulo, skepticism exploded. A Ronaldo, fresh off a catastrophic injury, clearly out of shape, joining a team that had just climbed out of the second division. Was this madness, a marketing stunt? The joke started, rivals mocked. One São Paulo club executive even questioned the move publicly, mocking it as nothing more than a PR stunt.
Let's be honest, Ronaldo's just a former player who refuses to hang up his boots.
The presentation photos didn't help. Ronaldo looked heavy, far from elite shape. Even Corinthians' passionate fan base was split. Of course, they'd support him, but the doubt was real. What could they expect from this version of Ronaldo? Did he still have anything left? And yet, there he was, standing on a stage at Parque São Jorge in front of thousands of screaming, die-hard fans, wearing the number 9. The pressure was massive, the skepticism unavoidable. A team defined by grit had welcomed a genius now surrounded by doubt. A fan base torn between hope and fear. How would the man who once conquered the world respond? The answer would come on the pitch, and it would be spectacular. In his debut wearing the Corinthians jersey during the first round of the Copa do Brasil, Ronaldo stepped onto the pitch in the 66th minute. The world was watching. The phenomenon was back. Every touch on the ball was scrutinized. Every movement analyzed. One of the greatest players in history was under the microscope. The pressure immense. He was still chasing rhythm, chemistry. Critics were sharpening their pens. But as always in Ronaldo's life, the answer was waiting for a bigger stage. The biggest derby in São Paulo football, and one of the greatest rivalries in Brazil, Corinthians versus Palmeiras. Corinthians' most hated rival. The country held its breath. Corinthians was down 1-0, and in the second half, the coach called him in. Everyone knew what that moment meant. And at 90 plus 2 minutes, a corner kick. The final seconds ticking away. And then history. The stadium erupts. Even the fencing collapses under the weight of emotion, of history, of destiny. Right there, at that very moment, the message was clear. The phenomenon was back. Just 4 days later, Ronaldo starts his first match against São Caetano. The crowd is electric. The cameras track his every step. And at the 71st minute, he strikes again. A single goal, precise, powerful. It wasn't just a goal, it was a statement. Corinthians wins. And everyone realizes Ronaldo still had plenty to give. Paulista Championship semi-finals. The opponent, São Paulo FC. The same club whose president had mocked Ronaldo's return months earlier, calling him a retired player in action. But what happened that day became one of the most symbolic plays of his career. Ronaldo takes off. Yes, overweight, out of prime shape, but still faster, hungrier. He starts behind the defender and finishes in front, outrunning the back line, beating the keeper and scoring like only he could. Corinthians into the final, and Ronaldo, he showed the world the weight wasn't on his body, it was on his name, on his legacy. And the final had a script worthy of a phenomenon. April 26, 2009. The final against Santos, Neymar's Santos, and Ronaldo was ready to create a masterpiece. He picks it up outside the box, notices the keeper off his line. In milliseconds, he makes the decision. He paints a masterpiece, a genius chip, a goal for the ages. With a draw in the second leg, Corinthians lifts the Paulista Championship trophy, undefeated. The media bows, the fans are in tears. Football is grateful. But there was still another final to play, the Copa do Brasil. And once again, Ronaldo delivers. Corinthians are champions. In just 6 months, he turned doubt into glory, disrespect into reverence, skepticism into worship. In 2010, the pain returned. His body, worn by years of greatness, began to demand its toll. But still, there was magic left in those feet. November 13th, 2010, Corinthians versus Cruzeiro. No one, not even Ronaldo, knew what was about to happen. Ni last twist of fate, one final moment of brilliance, a goal, against the very team that once revealed him to the world. And that goal would be the last of his legendary career, the last dance of a player who defied logic, rewrote the rules, and redefined football. His body gave out, but the phenomenon never did.